If you're not a cyclist, then you might not know the true story of Graeme Obree, or the Flying Scotsman as he was known. He achieved a world hour record in 1993, world champion individual pursuit 93-95, twice became world champion the 4,000 meter pursuit. What's incredible about this story is he did it on a bike that was homemade, that included parts from his washing machine. His riding position was very unconventional, and he had no team, no engineers or sponsors compared to his opposition. And of course, the system fought back by banning his bike and all the innovations that he did. He was a kind of symbol of rebellion and resistance. He became a cult hero in the world of cycling and proved that thinking differently could really shake up the system. My name is Mike Dawson, and I'm the author of Quit Your Diet, Think to Shrink. And if you're done with meal plans, calorie counters and food diaries, then you might be in the right place, because I'm here to help you develop a 14-day plan to quit diets forever. If you sign up on my website in the coming day, then it will always be free to you and gives you access to all the tools you need. And if you're struggling with weight problems, then you could take my quick 12-question quiz, which is around here somewhere, that will help you determine what level your weight issue lies, and of course, how best to deal with that. So by its very nature, suggesting people quit dieting is outside of the diet dogma. And if you've been on diets a long time, then it can feel really unnerving to simply quit. It's like stepping off a cliff. There's a lot of questions and comments I get about this idea. And so it's time to deal with these head on. Not because I'm right, but because it helps me to question my own ideas. So I want to thank you for questions and comments, and I'll try to dig out what must be some of the most resistive and aggressive questions I can find concerning my thoughts on quitting your diet. So here we go. Let's address them directly, these ideas, and you can make your own decisions as to whether you prefer the next diet or a diet-free life. First of all, isn't it dangerous to ignore the advice to lose weight for health reasons? This is a common misunderstanding, and I'm really glad this is in here. Quit Your Diet is about weight problems. So this is not attached to what you weigh on the scales, and it's not attached to diagnosed weight disorders. It's about being free from weight problems, just like all those people you know who do not diet. They do not have diaries, they don't have meal plans, and they are they buff athletes and supermodels? Probably not, just the other guy at work on the next desk. But they've got a different mindset. None of the ideas in Quit Your Diet or Quiz suggest that you should not lose weight, and certainly not that you go on a binge. Losing weight has benefits if you want to feel fitter and happier. My concern is that the data shows that diets do the opposite and give you weight gain. So if the diets don't work, then the culture leaves us responsible, and yet it offers us nothing else. But I want to do that by looking at the people with the solution, and that means operating at our own higher levels. And if you want to know what levels are, cue the quiz. Please note there is a 12-question quiz around here somewhere. Click on the link and you'll find out about your particular level. So I hope that makes it clear. It's not about weight at all. The next one, won't I just binge and gain loads of weight if I stop dieting? This is a similar argument. If you are on a diet, it's a good indicator of weight gain. So will you just binge if you quit dieting? I don't know. You might. However, the Quit program isn't about quitting and binging. It's about becoming a little bit more like those non-dieters, or the weightless, as I call them. It's about that new mindset. And this will bring numerous benefits that will spill over into daily life. For example, you just look better anyway because you've removed the trauma of dieting and the food obsession. And that comes out in your personality and your demeanor. It's also likely that you'll become less self-conscious and happier. I cite studies in my book that advocate for like this slower weight loss that's sustainable, and the power of our minds that suggest there's this huge mental element to our size. So my answer to you, will I binge, is I don't know. But that in itself has to tell you something about the methods you're using, or my plan, or your execution of the plan. There's no need to binge, and there's no need to diet, according to the statistics. The world judges fat people at work, in dating, everywhere. Are you seriously saying we should just accept being fat and pretend that doesn't matter? Brilliant. I find the word fat a little bit disrespectful, although I've used it on myself. Yes, the world judges fat people, but there are different kinds of fat people. Worst case scenario is that you are fat and unhappy, but then you could be fat and happy. That's a starting point. Secondly, if diets are making you bigger, isn't that in itself accepting that you're going to be fat? That's just a fact. If you diet, you're probably going to be fatter this time next year. So you're already accepting it. I'm suggesting we can make changes in our lives that affect our beliefs and our identity. These changes are not given any consideration in diet culture. It's a simple equation of willpower and systems. And in my approach, we work on the personality, the identity, the beliefs that operate outside of willpower. If you identify as a mother or a hard worker, then this influences every decision that you make in your life. And it doesn't take willpower. So become like those non-dieters, and you'll start to look a little bit like them. Diets give me structure. They tell me what's good and bad. If I quit dieting, how do I even know what to eat or when? Isn't this just chaos pretending to be freedom? Brilliant question. I refer to diets as restrictive meal plans, not, general diet. We're all on a diet because we all eat, food in food groups. I personally eat foods on a daily basis. Some people would never consider. However, I'm not told what to eat or how much. Instead, I have a mainly reasonable menu that I choose from, and I build this over time like we all did. It's not chaos. It's about the bigger picture. So I sometimes use the analogy of alcohol. One night going on the booze is simply a big night. A whole weekend could be a great weekend. Hitting it heavy for a week could be the crazy holiday with the lads. But 2 weeks, 3 weeks, drinking at work in the morning, just to get you going, somewhere along that path there's a need for concern. It wasn't necessarily that one night, and it might not be that one dessert, that one piece of cake. Management of diet freedom, I think, is similar. You'll notice that in my book, there's no nutritional advice, meal plans in any way. This is an area I avoid because that's not my concern. My concern is up here. No, I do not agree that it is a recipe for chaos. I think there's one more I can do quickly. Yes, I love this one, but diets work for some people. Why don't they work for me? Work for who? The slimmer of the year? Again, this is covered in my book, and it's also covered in the last video. You really need to watch that one. The slimmer of the year is awarded across the board to various diet plans. So if this is the case, it must suggest that all of those Diet World Slimmers Club diets work. And this appears to be true until you delve a little deeper and you don't just look at the surface. Each person will be interviewed to tell the story, and nothing I say takes anything away from their achievements. However, they may have been humiliated at the school gate, stuck on a fairground ride, needed a seatbelt extension on a plane. These stories are a shift in mindset, and after that, everything changed for them, and the diet became just a vehicle because they were losing weight anyway. Now, if it was the diet itself, then of course everyone could do it. This confirms for me my own idea that it's the mindset that comes first. If I could take that emotional trauma of getting stuck on a fairground ride, put it in a bottle then all our weight problems would be solved forever. But we can't. We can only try and replicate it. So Super Slimmers, well done. We all congratulate you. But it wasn't Slimming Club or Weight World that did it. It was you. It was the mindset shift. Think about what matters to you, and maybe you're a parent and that's your identity. Every single decision you make will rotate around that identity. Now, one of those decisions could be losing weight. One of the Slimmers of the Year told how his daughter was really upset, and the class had been talking about mortality and weight gain. She didn't want her dad to die, and that was it. He was on a diet the next morning. So in my book and course, like all change agents, we're looking to try and replicate and instigate change at higher levels, because everything else just cascades down. Why don't diets work for you? They don't work for most people, so don't worry. It's the diet that's the problem. If you want to think about a better understanding of these levels, then take a 12-question quiz. It's around here somewhere. It's a great way to start, and it'll determine your weight level and offer some solutions. Sign up today for lifetime free legacy membership and never pay for access to any of my new PDFs, tools, audio downloads, and join us for our group coffee mornings where we share and live more of our own experiences. Thank you for all those really tough questions, because I have to challenge my own ideas. And if you'd like me to address a question, please drop me a comment below and I'll pick it up and respond as soon as I possibly can, either personally or in the comments. If this episode gave you food for thought and you agree it can help others, then half a second just to tap the little like button helps it to get shared with other people just like you. Hitting subscribe means that myself and others similar to me will occasionally pop into your feed. That's all I've got today. I hope you'll join us on this journey. And if you've got comments, please drop them below and add to this really important conversation. My name is Michael Dawson, the author of Quit Your Diet, Think to Shrink, and I'll be back in a few days with another episode where I talk about the resistance, the invisible force that seems to be pulling us backwards to where we began. Thanks for being there. It's been a pleasure.